No Country for Old Men came out in 2007, won Best Picture at the 2008 Oscars, back when the Oscars were still a celebration of films and not rich, entitled celebrities patting each other on the back and telling us they're morally superior because we didn't vote for who they did. Rant over. And it's a very good film. I said I was going to do this next to my Collateral review. In a lot of ways, I feel like this could be a prequel to Collateral. The lead cast is great with Josh Brolin's Javier Bardem and Tommy Lee Jones, and one of the most unique and interesting things about this is the three principals do not share a single frame of film when they are on screen together. Although they might be in the same area or there might be a shootout, you don't see them directly face to face interact once. Josh Brolin's is a Texas man, Vietnam veteran, finds a drug cartel shootout and a big satchel of money. He takes the money and decides to go back in the middle of the night because he felt guilty he didn't have water for the one surviving guy. Well, while he's doing that, the cartel shows up and he winds up going on the run and is being pursued by a hitman played by Javier Bardem. There's a tracker and the money he doesn't know about it, and Tommy Lee Jones is the sheriff trying to piece things together and figure it out. And what follows is just a brilliant movie that at times is sparse on the dialogue but keeps you on your seat. We get introduced to each of these characters in unique ways. Javier Bardem getting arrested and killing the police officer, Josh Brolin hunting and finding the money, Tommy Lee Jones doing his job. We sort of see these people and what their natural element is, and they're very well-established characters. Perhaps the most chilling but also well-done scene is the Call It scene, where this store clerk is talking to Javier Bardem, and noticed he came from the Dallas direction, and he's like, "You get any rain your way?" In like Javier Bardem's tone changes, you can tell that bothers him. He's thinking of this guy as a loose end, and he starts questioning him. And when the guy admits, "Yeah, my wife's father owned this," and he like, "You married into it," and he asks him, "What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss?" And he flips the coin and he's like, call it. And he's asking him to call it. And sure enough, the guy calls heads, and it's heads. And we know from what we seen earlier, if he calls this wrong, Javier Bardem is going to kill him. So and again, his tone changes. He's almost a little more jovial and playful. And he's like, no, don't put the coin in your pocket. That's your lucky coin. It'll get mixed in with all the other coins and become just another coin, which of course it is. And it's like, even though you see in the scene with the cop, he clearly enjoys killing, he also enjoys leaving it up to fate. And it's like he could be happy for the person he doesn't kill to a degree. And this is what kicks off the game of cat and mouse. It should be noted, even though he has a pistol, Javier Bardem's two main weapons are a silent shotgun and an air hammer that they use to kill cattle. It's hooked up to an air tank. He puts it to people's heads and kills them that way, or knocks out door locks. Josh Brolin quickly realizes he left his truck at the thing, and he knew the cartel people would run the number, so he gets his wife to go out and go to town, and he goes go to her mother's, and he goes on the run with the money while Tommy Lee Jones is investigating it. And there are a lot of great scenes with uncomfortable silence, whether it be Anton Chigurh, played by Bardem, just quietly prowling around getting ready to kill, Josh Brolin doing his things in the hotel room, hiding the money. And then you get the dialogue with Tommy Lee Jones and one of the younger cops and like talking about how more heinous crime is becoming, and that's kind of a reoccurring theme of this movie about how brutal crime has become and how there seems to be less reason to it. And I do like the scene where he's telling a story about a crime to the deputy, and the deputy kind of laughs and he's almost apologetic. And Tommy Lee Jones is even like, sometimes all you can do is laugh. And yeah, we've seen heinous stuff on the news where just out of shock we have that like uncomfortable laugh. And again, I thought that was a great scene. I could be here all day talking about great scenes in this movie. A good side character is someone else brought in by the cartel and hired by the same people as Javier Bardem, played by Woody Harrelson. And he's also tracking the money. So we have two people hired by the same person to track down the money, which comes back to bite the person doing the hiring. Eventually, it leads to a shootout in a motel where kind of get the better of each other. One, they both manage to wound each other. Josh Brolin manages to get over the border. Javier Bardem has to be more creative because he has to create a distraction to get into a drugstore and steal the stuff to perform surgery on himself. And Woody Harrelson finds Josh Brolin in the hospital in Mexico, and he's like, I found you in 3 hours. How easy you think it's going to be for him to find you? And he's trying to talk like, look, I can help you. Just tell me where the money is, give it to me, and I'll even let you keep some of it. So he's a more reasonable man where, yeah, he will kill if he has to, but if he can just convince you to just give him what he wants, he's happy to let you live. Where Anton Chigurh enjoys killing, he'll kill you just for inconveniencing him, even though he has a very bizarre set of principles. Woody Harrelson gets killed by him, and he's like, I don't need you to tell me where the money is. It's going to come to me. And the phone rings, and sure enough, it's Josh Brolin. And he kind of hits Josh Brolin with a cold, hard truth. Look, if you bring the money to me, you're still going to die, but I won't kill your wife. If you go running, I'm going to get the money, then I'm going to kill you, and then I'm going to go kill her. And it's a kind of very chilling scene, especially how casual Javier Bardem is talking about the murder. This is a man with no sympathy, no remorse. He doesn't care about right or wrong, good or evil. He enjoys killing, and he gets paid very handsomely for it. He actually goes to the people that hired both him and Woody Harrelson, which this person's kind of a middleman, and he kills him for hiring a second person. And there's another guy in the office, and he's like, are you going to shoot me? And Javier Bardem turns around and goes, that depends. Do you see my face? But we don't see if we kill him or not. It could be similar to the coin toss, where if you say you don't see my face, I'll let you live, or I'm just going to kill you because I enjoy it. Anticlimactically, but also brilliantly, Josh Brolin gets killed by the cartel independent from Javier Bardem, because the cartel's following his wife and mother-in-law. His mother-in-law lets slip because one of them helps her carry her bags where he is, and they kill him. And then we get a scene after all this settles where also Tommy Lee Jones almost gets killed at the same hotel by Javier Bardem, where he quits his job and he's talking to who I believe is his brother, and he's talking about why he quit and how, and like the nature of the modern crimes. And his brother tells him a story about a relative who just randomly got shot in the pioneer days and just died hours later. And he's like, no, these heinous crimes aren't nothing new. They've been around since forever. Kind of like you're quitting over old news, and it's a very somber but well done scene. We get a scene where he does show up at Josh Brolin's wife's home, and she's like, "Please, sir, you no, you don't have to kill me. What are you gaining?" She's like, "I'm in debt from my husband's death, and now I just buried my mother. I don't know how I'm gonna pay either one off." And you can tell he kind of takes pity on her, but he explains, "I promised your husband if he didn't bring me the money, I would kill you." And he flips the coin, and he's like, "Call it heads or tails." And she's refusing to call it, and you can see he's getting more agitated. But I do like you do see that even though he's a very remorseless person, he does have his unique sense of remorse, and he's giving her a true fair 50-50 chance to live, as sick and twisted as it might be. We don't see if we killed her or not. All we see him do is walk out the front door and look at the bottom of his shoes, but he also didn't close the front door. So is he checking his shoes for blood, or was that out of habit? And if he did kill her, why did he leave the front door open? The answer is simple. It's the coin toss. Call it heads or tails. It's whatever you, the viewer, want it to be. Javier Bardem then gets into a car accident, and in a nice callback to a scene earlier with Josh Brolin getting into the Mexican border, he pays a kid for his shirt. And he has a compound fracture, effectively being disarmed since his two main weapons require two hands to use. He's now defenseless and probably not going to get far. I like to think years later, Vincent goes to become with the criminal underworld what Javier Bardem was in No Country for Old Men. Great film. Even the ending where Tommy Lee Jones is talking about two dreams he had about his father is sorrowful and chilling, and it just ends on the story in this uncomfortable silence that pervades the whole movie. This is a movie you can watch with friends, talk about it to each other through, and not miss a whole lot. The dialogue's there, but there are also long stretches where there isn't much talking. This is a solid A+ film. I can't recommend it enough. Check out both these. They make a great double feature. So, like, share, comment, subscribe, over and out.